stories. About 18 years ago, my wife and I wanted to adopt a child, and we were paired up with an Asian couple. We assured them the child would be loved, which was the truth because we instantly fell in love with our baby boy. After about 8 months, though, we started to feel twinges of guilt because our perfect Chinese son was going to be raised in this whitewashed household by two ding-dongs who were unable to provide him with any sort of connection to his cultural heritage or identity. There happened to be a large Chinese population in our city, though, so it seemed like a no-brainer for us to expose him as much as we could. We enrolled him in Mandarin classes, and we even developed a relationship of sort with a Chinese couple who became his adopted auntie and uncle. We even took family trips to China every couple of years. Flash forward to recently, he's now 17 years old and getting ready to go to college, so my wife and I are helping him fill out the financial aid form. Digging through my office for the needed paperwork, I came across his adoption papers, and it was only then that I saw it. Something so obvious, so painfully brick to the face obvious. Something that neither my wife nor I in the stupidity of our youth had registered. The names on the adoption paperwork were Park and Kim. Our son was Korean.
This is why you should never play hide and seek. A mom decided to play hide and seek with her 2 kids. The mom began counting, ready or not, here I come. She begins searching the downstairs kitchen because she knows that they hide there every single time. As she's walking to the kitchen, she starts saying, I wonder where they are. She looks under the table and sees they aren't there, which is kind of odd. She knew they were too scared to go into the basement alone, but she decided to check anyway. They weren't there either. She began to panic. The mom then says, Jordan, Casey, come out now, mommy's not playing anymore. There was no answer. Panic really begins to set in. She decides to call 911 and reaches an operator. She tells the operator what's wrong, and the operator sends an officer to her house. Once the officer arrives, he says, don't worry, we will find them. As she's sitting in the living room, she hears giggling and laughing and hears a closet door slam upstairs. She sprints upstairs and says, Jordan, Casey, you worried me sick. She opened the closet door and nobody was there. While all of this is going on, she hears the doorbell ring. She runs downstairs and finds the officer holding Jordan and Casey. The officer says, they were hiding in the shed out back. Then Jordan looks at mommy and says, why were you telling us to stay in the shed?
Story time on how I got kidnapped by my ex-boyfriend. And today I'm not going to do any lip syncing, and this is not my story. So I was 16 at the time, he was 19. He lived with his grandmother, and I was only allowed to go over when she was at work or out of town. And we were very toxic. We were always on and off, and he used to hit me. He used to throw me around, and guys, I'm 5'5", and he was literally a foot taller than me. So one day, we were broken up at the time. I called him and told him that I needed to get my stuff from his grandmother's house. I left my backpack and a few other things there because I was serious about breaking up with him. So he told me to go at 5 because at that time his grandmother wouldn't be there. She's a nurse, so she works doubles. Also, he told me he wanted to, talk to break up on a good note. And me being naive and young, I believed him. And I really needed my backpack for college. So I had my friend drop me off in my car. I'm running out of time, so come back for part 2. Okay, so part 2 on how I got kidnapped by my ex-boyfriend. So I told my friend to drop me off in my own car because I was afraid he would take my car keys like he's done before. So I got there and he was acting super strange. He started telling me that my clothes were upstairs, but he still ended up going upstairs and getting them. And I was actively texting someone and he got really mad, and that's when it all started. So he threw the backpack at me and took my phone away. I tried to open the door, but he overpowered me and he blocked the door. I yelled at him to let me go and he wouldn't. He demanded for me to talk with him. He grabbed me, threw me on the couch, demanding to talk to me. I said, about what? And he was asking me why I wanted to leave him. But I refused to talk because I was pissed off. And that angered him, and he said I wasn't going to leave until I told him why I wanted to break up with him. So I told him some bum-ass story on how I wanted to focus on school. Come back for part 3. Part 3 on how I got kidnapped by my ex-boyfriend. And I told him that we could get back together after the semester was over. And I think he saw through my bullshit because he punched me. I tried to fight him back, but honestly, what could I do to him? So after that, I just sat there thinking of how I was going to get out of this. And he turned on the TV and told me that I was with him for the night. And I knew his grandmother would not get off till 5 a.m. So I ended up waiting until he relaxed and I went to the bathroom. And on my way there, I noticed a cordless house phone. And he waited for me to get out of the bathroom and then escorted me to the living room. I asked him to make us some food, and then while he was doing that, he told me that if he couldn't have me, no one can. I ended up calling 911 and kept on talking to him about the kidnap, assuming the operator would be listening to me. Long story short, the cops came, they threw him on the floor. I ended up leaving, never pressed charges, blocked him from everywhere, and now I have 3 beautiful kids and I'm married, far away from him.